Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Susan. Thanks for stopping by today. You know, we're coming on to the holidays real quick, quicker than we think. And I started baking. I like to bake things ahead of time, put it in the freezer, and just pull things out when we need to. Today I'm going to bake an Irish cream cake. It's one of our favorites, and I'd like to show you just how it's done. Now the first thing we want to do, this is really simple because we start out with a cake mix. This is a Devil's Food cake mix. You can use any brand you like, and we're going to pour it in a small bowl. Oh, we're going to get the bag too. Isn't that handy? Okay, so we've got the Devil's Food cake in there. I'll put that back there and out of the way. We also want to use, and this is instant pudding. It's a small package. It's the, what's it say here? 3.9 ounce package. We're going to add that to the cake mix. Put that all in there. And the only other thing we're going to do in the dry ingredients is cinnamon. We need a teaspoon of cinnamon. And wouldn't you know it, of all things, I didn't get a teaspoon. Hold on a second, and I'll grab one real quick. You know, I was going to tell you to make sure when you started baking or cooking to make sure all your ingredients and all your equipment's in front of you. Well, I guess I should take my own advice. So we've got a teaspoon of cinnamon in there. I'm going to stir it around, mix it up good. This is mixing the cake mix and the pudding and the cinnamon. We want to get all that in there. And the next thing we're going to do is combine the wet ingredients. Okay. It smells chocolatey. Okay, another bowl. Here we go with the wet ingredients. We're going to start with 4 eggs. Get these right in the bowl. Oh, there's tough membrane on that one. Now, like any other baking with eggs, please room temperature eggs. There's 2, 3, and 4. Excuse me, I'm going to wipe my hands from the eggs. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to have, I know this is cooking oil. I buy the big jugs from Sam's Club, but I don't like to hold on to them. I like to pour it in a little something here. It's easier to handle. So I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of cooking oil. Oh, look at that. Good job. 1/2 cup just there. All right, we're going to put that in there. Next ingredient we're going to do is 1 cup of sour cream. Now, I prefer the regular sour cream, the full fat sour cream. I just think it tastes better, and I think it works better. But if you're on a diet or you can't, you know, somebody in your family can't handle all the fat, by all means, use a low-fat sour cream. So we're going to put that in here too. I'm going to jump it in. This is a 1 cup measure. Get it all in there. There we go. Now, here comes the fun thing. We're going to do some Irish cream. Now, I don't care what brand you use of Irish cream. It's all the same. It's all Irish whiskey and cream. So you can use any you choose, or maybe you'd like to make your own, and that'd be great. I know people that make their own and give it as gifts. And we've received a couple of those gifts and have enjoyed them. So we're going to do a cup. Ooh, look at that. Of Irish cream. We're going to save the rest of that because we're going to do some icing on this cake later on. So I've got the Irish cream, the eggs, the vegetable oil, and the sour cream. Get that in the sink. Now we're going to just mix this together. Try not to slop it over the sides as I do sometimes. Kind of mix that together. just so the eggs are broken up. Now, we're going to pour our dry mixture into our wet mixture. Here we go. Here goes the cake mix, the pudding, and the cinnamon. And we're going to use, I'm just going to use a hand mixer. I find it easier when you use a box cake mix, just a hand mixer, rather than dragging out your stand mixer. But you want to start it on low, or you're going to have cake mix all over you in the kitchen. So we're going to just beat this. What do you guys do for the holidays? You have any special recipes you use? We'd love to hear from you. See what you use. We do a lot of cookies and cakes because we have an open house every year. So it takes a lot of food. So I try to prepare everything ahead of time. I know this is noisy and I apologize for that. But there's no other way to mix it. We have an open house every year. So I try to start my baking in November, and as much as I can put in the freezer. And this cake, by the way, freezes really well. So we're going to go ahead and stir this down. Stir this down so we can get the rest of it. The rest of it mixed up here. And I don't know where you're living, but we've kind of had some warm weather here in northern Minnesota, which is, I guess, not very usual, but it's been welcome. You know, we haven't had to pull out the woolies yet. All right, I think we're good to go there. So we're going to kind of, there we go. Okay, we're going to set this aside. Now, this calls for 1 3/4 of white chocolate chips. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 1 3/4 white chocolate chips. And actually, I'm just going to pour it in here and see what I've got. You can measure if you want. I just kind of eyeball it. I'm going to use that much, and we'll see if it looks different. We'll add more. Oh, this looks pretty good. Smells good too. Maybe we'll add a few more in there. Looks like we've got them pretty well dispersed. Now, I had preheated my oven to 350. Plus, I greased and floured a 10-inch bundt pan. Now, you've got to do the greasing and flouring or it's going to stick on you. I use a non-stick bundt pan, but I always grease and flour it. And I use that spray, that oily spray that has the flour added to it. And I find that it's much easier to get out. And it's a lot easier than wiping the grease onto the pan and then shaking the flour all over the place. So here I've got a bundt pan, and we're going to pour it in there. Try to kind of get it around the pan there. Ooh, it looks good. And this is easy with the cake mix in it because you don't have to worry about baking soda, baking powder, if it's going to rise, if it's not. Okay, let's get this all in here. This is going to go into a, like I said, a 350-degree oven. And the instructions I had said 45 or 50 to 60 minutes. I do not put it in for that long. I try and test it. Oh, look at this. This is a mess. Hold on a second. I try to test it about 45 minutes because all ovens bake differently. and mine seems to be a little on the hotter side. So we're going to put this in the oven. Got it preheated for 350. Put it in the oven here. We're going to set the timer. I'm going to set the timer for 45 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I'll see you back here in about 45 minutes and tell you what's going to happen next. Hi, well, welcome back. We've baked our cake. You can take a look at it here. It's nice and brown. It only took me 45 minutes in my oven to bake this. And we're going to make a glaze now for the top. And that's going to be I have 1 tablespoon of butter here melted. And I'm going to add to that 2 tablespoons of an Irish cream. Like I said, you can do any Irish cream you want. You can even make your own. That'd be great if you want to do that. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of milk. 1 and 2. And to that we're going to add 1.5 cups of confectionery, or some people call it icing sugar. So we're going to do this. We're going to get us 1.5 cups. And then we're going to mix it. I'm going to kind of level this off right now. There's a cup. And we're going to do a half. Now sometimes you might have to add more liquid. Depends on your sugar. Okay. There's 1.5 cups. I'm going to get out of the way so you can see this. Now we're going to stir this up. Let me grab a whisk. This is going to be even better with a whisk here. Here we go. That lapping noise you hear in the background is our dog Tilly getting a drink of water. I guess she must have to do that while we're on camera. Okay, we're going to stir this up. As you can see, we're getting all the lumps out of the sugar. Looks good. It smells good too. Now, you know, that's pretty runny. I may just add another spoonful of sugar, because I don't know that I want it to be that runny. So we'll put this in there. Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay. That's a little better. This will set up after a while. I'm going to I use a gravy ladle. I don't know what you want to use, but I'm going to start pouring it around. And I have, if you notice, a piece of waxed paper underneath this to catch all the drippings so that I don't have to clean up a counter. Oh boy, that looks good. Actually, it looks quite pretty. Add a little more. Isn't that nice? And this will keep the cake nice and moist too. Now I am going to put this in the freezer so I can pull it out around Christmas time for a Christmas party. There we go. Well, let's put it back here. Now, let's let this set for a couple minutes, and then we're going to cut a piece of it. See how it looks inside. Let me grab a knife here. And oh my, oh my. Grab a plate. We're probably going to need a fork to eat this with. Oh, look at that. You can see the white chocolate chips in it. And it looks nice and moist. Ooh, let's take a little bite of this. Oh my, it's chocolatey. Mmm. This is great. I'll tell you what, we're gonna wrap this up, stick it in the freezer, and then we'll be able to pull it out come Christmas. So, until next time, blessings to you and your family.